Welcome to Creative Tien channel. Today we want to make a simple mask with printed words or any image you design on the computer and print it through the printer with the help of freezer paper. You can use this technique on any inkjet printer and you can print out your own fabric pattern design. So first thing, what is a freezer paper? You can find the freezer paper in any grocery store in the United States, but outside that, I'm not sure if it's easy to find or if they have an equivalent product. And the freezer paper is different from the waxed paper. I tried the wax paper and it doesn't work for me. So the method is to use a freezer paper attached to the back of fabric so it can run through a printer. And then we can print out any design on the computer. So the first step is to cut the freezer paper into the size we want. The most common size here is a US letter, the 8.5 inch by 11 inches. If you're outside the US, the A4 is a very similar size. And it depends on what your printer can print. Most of them can print at least legal size. That means it's longer than your regular letter or A4, or some of them can print out even bigger size. If your printer can print bigger size, then you can cut a bigger size paper so you can attach to a bigger size fabric. So that's the size limit for the freezer paper method. Now the first step, I'm going to cut 8.5 by 11 inch size, the US letter size. Since my freezer paper is pretty big, so I can cut 2 pages of the letter size this way. I'm going to use pencil and a ruler to lightly mark the outline of the 8.5 by 11 size because we are going to take out the freezer paper after printing. So it's okay to have some mark on the paper. You can see the very light pencil outline, and I'm just going to cut it with a scissor. The pattern of the mask is based on US letter size or an A4 size paper because that's the size of the paper we want to run through the printer. And those two sizes are very similar, and it's a good size to make a pattern that fits average adult face. And for kids size, you can always cut the fabric smaller or simply adjust the length of the elastic. Now we cut the 8.5 by 11 size, US letter size. We can start to iron it onto the fabric of our choice, with the shiny side face down to the wrong side of the fabric, so it will attach to the back side of the fabric. And I pick a white 100% cotton fabric. It doesn't have to be white, it's really up to you, depends on your own design. So I'm just going to iron on the back side of the paper, so the paper is attached to the fabric. Now I iron the freezer paper to the cotton fabric. We can just cut out the extra fabric so it will be the exact size, either the US letter or A4 size. And our image will be the bottom side because we are going to fold the paper in half to create the front and back of the mask. But if you want the pattern to be on both sides, it's your choice. Now you can see I cut out the paper, and that's the paper side, that's the fabric side. And the purpose of the freezer paper is to make the fabric stiff so it can fit through the printer. And the next thing, we have to design our graphic. You can design your graphics very simply in Words or using apps like Canva.com. Here I'm using the Canva.com. It's a very simple graphic program and it's free for the basic version. Once you're in the home page of Canva.com, you can create a template, and if you click the box here, it will come out different preset size, such as letter, legal size, or you can go down and see any social media size you want, or you can have custom dimension too. So I'm just picking the basic letter size. And on the left sidebar, you can see there's a text. There's a basic heading, subheading, and body text. And they have different combination. You can just go with their preset combinations. And about the text, there's an element. It can be any shape, like a square, triangle, or small images. You can search like heart. You can use any of the image you will show, and then once it's here, you can change the size and change the color. By clicking here, you can decide any color or custom color. And you can do the basic manipulation such as flipping. And here is my design. I just keep it simple, have a hashtag, New York Tough. I add a little heart symbol and just tilt it, change the size. And you can change the spacing of the letter by going here. Change the letter spacing and the height between the lines. You can change the color here. Just click, change to any color you like. And I add this one, I just try to see where is the center line. So I go to element, find a line, or search for a line, and just come up with the basic line here. Because when I highlight it, it will show me where is the center. You'll change the color. So I know I am in the center of the part I need, either on the top or in the bottom. I'm going to move the letters to the bottom side until it looks right. And I will keep the outside blank because I'm going to fold it on both sides and add the ear loop. So I keep the image in the center. And you can also import your own image. There's an area you can upload. And you don't have to always use their graphic. Now I'm happy with the design. I'm taking out the center line. That's just for a guide. And I'm ready to print. And I like to download the file first from the upper right corner. You can use PNG file or they have PDF print. Both of them are high quality image. The JPG is a small file size, so I will go with PNG or PDF print. And I'm going to try the PDF print now. Now I call out the PDF file. I'm ready to print. And we have to make sure the paper is inserted correctly. We are going to print on the fabric side, so depends on your printer. For my printer, usually the bottom side prints, so I have to feed this way, the paper side up, and you will print the fabric side. And for the printer, inkjet printer works better than laser printer. I'm not sure if laser printer will work for this project. Now back to the computer, I hit the printer and check the setting. I'm going to print out color, more setting, paper size correct, scale I have 100%, and then that should be it. Let's hit print. So that's what it looked like after it's printed. And you can see it's not too bad. The color is a little bit lighter than I like, but that might be just my ink because I'm running low on the ink. But overall, it's not too bad. And I'm going to do a little heat set. Just turn it over and iron it. Okay, after the heat set, we can tear apart the freezer paper because we don't need it anymore. And the next, I'm going to make it into a mask. So I will fold it in half first and iron it. Next, from the back side, you can see I fold in the seam allowance around 1 centimeter or 3/8 of an inch. And then I can sew in the wire for the nose shaping. So I can start by sewing around the wire 3 sides, and then I will sew up the bottom, and then I can place the elastic. The average adult is around 7 inches, 1 on each side. But if you are not sure, you want more flexibility, you can just make 4 pieces of either elastic or any type of tape or ribbon, so people can tie a knot and decide how tight they want the elastic to be, and then they can cut off the extras. So I will start by sewing the nose wire and then this part. So that's after I sew the nose wire and the bottom, and you can see it's open on the sides, but I fold in the seam allowance already. So the next step is to decide your elastic or ties. I decide to make a 4 piece of elastic ties and just sew in like that, sandwich in between, and then I will just sew a line to close the opening, and then we'll start folding. So that's what it looks like after sewing the 4 sides and sew in the ties. So the next step is just to fold the sides and then sew it up. So that's how I'm going to fold it. Each side I only have 2 folds, and I can see next time I will probably have the words closer to the center with less gap in between, so you can read better. So I fold it this way, and then I'm just going to sew a line straight down on both sides. That's how I fold it. This is about 1.5 inches, and each fold is about 0.5 inches. But the exact dimension is really up to you. You want the fold to be deep enough so it's more 3-dimensional, but you don't want it too deep so it kind of blocks the message in the center. So I'm going to sew it like that, maybe 1 straight line or 2 straight line, and then we will be done. So that's the final one. Next time I will adjust the letter so they are closer to the center. And with this technique, you can design any pattern or image, so it will be very useful. For the elastic, I just tie a knot because everyone has different size. The person who is wearing can decide how big or how small they want the elastic to be, and they can cut off the extra. I hope you like this video, and thank you for watching. See you next time.